Today we're going to be talking about solving two-step equations. There are two types of problems that we are going to usually see when we're solving two-step equations. The first one that we're going to talk about I call the horizontal problems. So an example of this would be something like 2x plus 4 equals 16. These are horizontal because they are written straight across. We usually have some sort of variable and we're adding or subtracting a number, and then on the other side of our equal sign we will have another number. So for these problems we always follow the same steps to solve them. Our first step, step number 1, is always going to be addition or subtraction. So it depends on the problem here. So let's take a look at our example, 2x plus 4. I focus here on the addition. I'm adding 4 in this problem. Because I am adding 4, and the rule is whenever we're solving equations, we will always do the opposite. So the opposite operation of addition would be to subtract. So I would subtract 4 on both sides. If it helps, you can draw a line to separate the two sides of your equation. So I have the left side here, and then I have the right side, and I need to make sure that I write a minus 4 on both of these. Once you have written that on your paper, you need to rewrite your equation. To rewrite the equation, we need to solve both sides. So I'm going to solve the left side first. I have 2x plus 4 minus 4. When I have this plus 4 and minus 4, those end up canceling out. So I cross them out on my paper and I just write what is left. So all I have is 2x. On the other side of my equation, I have 16 minus 4. 16 minus 4 would equal 12. So I'm going to write 12. So here I have rewritten the whole equation. My new problem is now 2x equals 12. After doing that step, I'm on to my last step here, step number 3, which is going to be multiplication or division. So in multiplication or division, again, it's going to depend on my problem. So if I look at the example problem here, I have 2x equals 12. And when it's written like this, 2x, this means that I am multiplying 2 times x. So anytime I have a number written next to the variable like this, I always need to use division because that is my opposite operation. The number that we divide is always the one that is in front of my variable, so I would divide 2 on both sides here, and I would cross out my 2's now because 2 divided by 2 will cancel out, and I'm just left with x on the left side. On the right side, I calculate 12 divided by 2. That gives me positive 6. So my final answer would be x equals 6. Let's look at another horizontal type of problem that looks a little bit different. So this one here, it is still considered horizontal because we can see that it goes straight across. The only difference here is where our variable is, but there's still an addition or subtraction and a number on the other side. So we're going to follow the exact same steps to solve. So I start with my addition subtraction. And because I have a plus 5, I need to do the opposite. So that means that I should be subtracting 5 on both sides. So on this side of my equation, I cross out my plus 5 and minus 5, and I just write what is left, so x over 2. On the other side of my equation, I have 14 minus 5. So I solve that. 14 minus 5 is 9. So from my rewritten equation, I have x over 2 equals 9. The final thing that we do is we want to do multiplication or divide. And because this problem has x over 2, which is the same thing as x divided by 2, we need to do the opposite, which would be to multiply on both sides. When we are multiplying, the number that we multiply is whatever is in the denominator. So we have a 2, so we would multiply 2 on both sides here. So I write a times 2 here and a times 2 here. Then I will cross out these numbers here because they cancel out, and all I'm left with on the left side of my equation is x. On the right side of my equation, I just solve 9 multiplied by 2, which is 18, and so my final answer would be x equals 18. Alright, let's look at the final problem type. This one is going to be different. These are what I will call the vertical problems. You can see here that it's now vertical because we have the numerator up here with our variable, and it's all being divided by one value here, all divided by 3. And then our 10 is on the other side here. So vertical ones are going to have some sort of division, and everything is going to be divided by a number. So we need to start these ones a little bit differently because of this division. So for this problem, we are always going to start out by getting rid of the denominator here. In order to get rid of that, we need to use multiplication. So we want to multiply the number on both sides. So just like how we got rid of our denominator in the previous example, we would multiply that number on both sides of our equation. So multiply the denominator. Our step number 2 is going to be to rewrite our equation. So I can draw the line to separate the two, and I need to rewrite the left side. So because I have a 3 and a 3 here, these will cancel out once I divide, because that was the reason why we multiplied by 3. When you're rewriting these problems, make sure that you write out the entire numerator. So whatever was originally up here, you keep that exactly the same. So I just write x minus 2. On the right side, we can actually calculate 10 times 3. That would equal 30. And now we're left with a much simpler problem. We should know how to solve these now. So x minus 2 equals 30. We again do the opposite. So depending on if it's addition or subtraction, we'll do the opposite operation. So this one is subtraction. So I need to add 2 on both sides. After adding 2 on both sides, I will cross out on the left, and I'm just left with x by itself. And I have 30 plus 2 on the right here, so that gives me 32. So this will be my final answer.